Hello everyone and welcome back to another screencast. This one's on circles, area, circumference of circles obviously, but also compound shapes that we have a part of a circle in there as well. It's number 3, which means it's the last one, and you'll be all relieved to hear that on this area. So what is circumference? What is area? We've done this before. If you've watched the other ones, you'll have the same picture. Very simply, it's the circumference is the distance around the outside of the shape. Little boundary line in a cricket pitch. It's like just saying the perimeter of a circle. The area is the space in the middle, the green part here. That would symbolize the area. Okay, so we are going to need to use our calculators for this screencast, so make sure you have them out. And everything is going to be rounded to 2 decimal places. Just remember that as we go through. So here we go. Here goes the formulas. Now remember, when we're talking about circles, when we're talking about these formulas, these are for a full circle. So you'll see me divide them by 2 for the area. And just watch out for the circumference when the circumference changes to perimeter, because we need to remember add in some other information there. But let's go over the first one, area. These are very simple. It's just the full circle divided by 2. So let's write this one down. Area is pi times r squared. That is the formula. For half a circle, it'd be pi times r squared divided by 2. If it was a quarter of a circle, it would be pi times r squared divided by 4. Does that make perfect sense? Okay, so now we change, we substitute in the 8 for the r. All right, so we have area equals pi times 8 squared. Well, what's 8 squared for a start? Okay, 8 times 8 is 64, and then we divide that by 2. And we'll end up with pi times 64 divided by 2 equals 105 centimeters squared. So that is for that one there. Now we're going to move over and we're going to recap over the circumference. So remember, again, we are going to divide the circumference, the full circle, by 2 for this one. So we'll write that now. Circumference is pi times the diameter, but we're going to have to divide that by 2, yeah? So pi times 12. Now, the reason why it's 12 is because remember, this is the radius here, so we have to double that. So we end up with circumference, or perimeter, now, is going to be 6 pi, and then we're going to add, because 6 pi would give us all the way around, and we're going to add these together here, which is 6 plus 6 is 12. And our answer would be 30.85 centimeters, not centimeters squared, because we're not talking about area. Now that's a recap, so you should already know that. We should be well away with it. Here is a normal question we may get. So this is a running track, or we could say it's a cycling track, and they're going to want us to work out the area or the perimeter of the shape. So this is how we would do it. We're going to work on the perimeter for a start. So first things first, we've really in reality got 2 shapes, don't we? We've got a semicircle here and another semicircle. If we put those 2 semicircles together, we would have a full circle. Okay, that's the first thing. So that would be this plus this would equal a full circle. Hopefully we understand that. Then we've got this rectangular shape in here, which is 80 by 40. Okay, so let's just make sure we write down some formulas that will help us with that. So let's start with the circumference, right, of a circle. So the circumference of the circle is pi times diameter, which is pi times 40, right? So circumference equals 40 pi. Now that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That circumference equals 40 pi. So the perimeter would equal 40 pi, okay, which is the distance from here all the way around the circle, yeah? But we have to also add on the 2 80s, the 2 straights. So we're going to have an 80 here and an 80 here. So the perimeter is made up of the full circle and the lengths going across there, which is 80 and 80. Can we see that? So our answer would be perimeter equals 285.66 meters. All right. So the same thing now is going to happen for the area. Remember, it's made up of two shapes. It's made up of a circle and it's made up of the rectangle, which is 80 by 40. So let's have a look at that one now. So this time we're working on the area. This is much easier. Well, I think it's much easier. We're going to find the area of the full circle. We're going to find the area of the rectangular shape, and we're going to add them together. So the area is pi times r squared. Well, what's r? R's not 40. It's going to be 20. So it's going to be 20 squared. So pi area equals pi times 20 squared. What's 20 squared? 20 times 20. Okay, so we've got area is pi times 400. And then we've got area equals 400 pi. We can leave it there at the moment. That is now the area of those bits there. Okay? So next up we have the area of the rectangle shape, which is area equals base times height. So we've got area equaling 80 times 40. And if we do those together, we end up with area equaling 3,200. So what are we going to do now? We've found out the area of this shape here now, and very simply we're going to add those together. So we have the area equaling 400 pi plus 3,200, and when we work that one through, we end up with area equaling 4,456.64 centimeters squared, because it's meters squared. It should be meters, not centimeters. Absolutely rookie mistake, Mr. Warren. Squared, because it is area. All right, so now it's time for you guys to give it a go on this one. Just acknowledge here that we're finding the area and perimeter of this pool. It's a lovely pool. It's the pool I had in the villa in Spain we stayed in. So very simply, you have to find out the perimeter of the shape and the area of the shape. Now, one thing to remember, you do not have the additional circle here. So bear that in mind when you're working it out, please. Pause the video, give it a go. If you have no idea what to do, I would go back. I would give the full running or cycling track a go first and then come back and do this one. But anyway, if you know what you're doing, pause the video and come back and see how you're done. Okay, so here is our answers now, and we'll go through it. So the perimeter, we had to find out this bit here for a start, didn't we? Yeah, and that was circumference equals pi times d divided by 2. So the worked out to be circumference equals 7.5 pi. So that gave us this distance here. But we then had to add on 20, 15, and 20. And we can see that there. Yeah. So our perimeter equaled 78.56 meters. The area, on the other hand, we needed to find out what this was for a start. Okay, so that is area is pi times r squared. So what's r? 7.5, 7.5 squared. So we ended up with area equaling 56.25 pi. That gave us this. Then we had the area of this other shape, okay, which is 20 by 15. We can see that 20 by 15. We added them together and we got 476.71 meters this time squared. Didn't make that rookie mistake like I did before. Anyway, hopefully you found that relatively easy. If you didn't, go back and watch it again. But until next time, it's always a pleasure to help you with your maths. And don't forget to write that revision card. It massively helps you moving forward. But as always, see you later.